Today, we will be discussing environmental defeats, tactical triage for the hostile environment, where rapid assessment and decisive intervention are what stand between compensation and systemic failure. Environmental threats fall into four categories: thermal defeats, heat-induced illness, frostbite, hypothermia; biological vectors, snake bites and tick bites; aquatic and atmospheric threats, non-fatal drowning and decompression sickness; and toxins and exposures, ingested poisons and carbon monoxide. Each demands its own recognition pattern and its own protocol. Think of heat illness as a spectrum. Yellow zone is heat cramps, your early warning. Orange zone is heat exhaustion, the system under stress. Red zone is heat stroke, CNS dysfunction with confusion, delirium, seizures, or coma, and anhidrosis, where sweating may actually be absent. The action protocol is rapid cooling within 1 hour, ice baths, cooling blankets, cold IV fluids, while monitoring for organ failure and coagulopathies. Prevention centers on hydration and AC, with special concern for older adults. Hypothermia is a core temperature deficit below 35 degrees, targeting the elderly, substance users, and anyone with outdoor exposure. Mild cases show shivering and lethargy, managed with passive or active external warming. Blankets, fluids, a warm environment. Moderate to severe cases show no shivering, coma, and high V-fib risk, requiring active internal warming with warmed IV fluids and humidified oxygen. The golden rule: treat hypothermia before frostbite. Core survival always precedes limb salvage. Frostbite thawing has strict parameters. The target is controlled, rapid rewarming in a 37 to 40 degree water bath for 30 to 40 minutes, never mechanical friction, which guarantees tissue necrosis in frozen cells. Assessment shows cold, pale, hard, insensitive skin that must be handled gently, with severity progressing from redness to blisters to necrosis. Adjunct care includes analgesics for thawing pain, sterile dressings, elevation, tetanus prophylaxis, and NSAIDs, while avoiding tobacco, alcohol, and caffeine. Comparing the three thermal defeats, heat stroke is core temperature above 40, with seizures or coma and hot, dry skin, managed by cooling within 1 hour. Hypothermia is core temperature below 35, ranging from shivering to coma with V-fib risk, managed by warming the core before the limbs. Frostbite is local tissue freezing, managed with a strict zero-friction warm water bath. Continuous ABC support applies universally across all three. Decompression sickness is a physics problem. Rapid pressure change forces dissolved nitrogen to form bubbles in tissue and blood. Symptoms include joint pain, dizziness, neurological deficits, and cardiopulmonary collapse. Immediate management is high-flow 100% oxygen, IV fluids, and keeping the patient warm, with definitive treatment in a hyperbaric chamber. Critical transport warning: avoid high altitude during transport since it allows further bubble expansion. Non-fatal drowning is defined as surviving more than 24 hours after submersion, and it carries a delayed pulmonary threat. Hypoxia, aspiration, ARDS, and cerebral injury. Management includes oxygen and intubation with PEEP if needed, gastric decompression for large water ingestion, treating secondary hypothermia, and continuous monitoring, which is crucial for catching a delayed pulmonary crash. Prevention comes down to supervision, life jackets, pool fencing, and rip current education. Snakebite and venomation causes tissue necrosis, swelling, bleeding, and neurotoxicity. First aid has firm contraindications. Do not incise, do not suction, do not apply ice, and do not use tight tourniquets. Simply immobilize the limb at heart level. In the ED, manage ABCs, provide wound care and tetanus prophylaxis, and administer antivenin if indicated, while watching closely for allergic reactions and delayed serum sickness. Tick-borne illness progresses in stages. Stage 1 brings a bullseye rash and flu-like symptoms. Stage 2 brings joint pain, neurological issues, and cardiac symptoms. Stage 3 brings chronic arthritis and neuropathy. For removal, extract the tick with fine tweezers, pulling straight upward, then monitor for fever, rash, and joint pain, prescribing antibiotics as indicated. And remember the risks beyond Lyme: Rocky Mountain spotted fever and tularemia. Carbon monoxide poisoning is a hemoglobin lockout. CO binds hemoglobin 200 times stronger than oxygen, causing profound tissue hypoxia. The diagnostic trap: pulse oximetry is unreliable, since it reads the locked receptor as fully saturated. Watch for headache, weakness, dizziness, confusion, and an intoxicated appearance progressing to coma. Act with immediate 100% oxygen, preferably hyperbaric, until COHB clears. Move the patient to fresh air and monitor for long-term risks like psychosis and vision or brain injury. With ingested caustics and hydrocarbons, airway takes priority over evacuation. Support ABCs first and consult poison control for every case. Never induce vomiting, since re-exposing the esophagus and airway to caustics or petroleum causes catastrophic damage. Time-sensitive interventions include activated charcoal where appropriate and gastric lavage only in select life-threatening cases within 1 hour of ingestion, alongside continuous monitoring of vitals, renal function, and neurostatus. Ingested and inhaled toxins need different strategies. Ingested caustics threaten local tissue destruction and systemic toxicity. Never induce vomiting, lavage only within 1 hour, and use activated charcoal if appropriate. Inhaled carbon monoxide threatens systemic hypoxia through competitive hemoglobin binding. Move to fresh air and give 100% oxygen or hyperbaric therapy until COHB clears. Both require mandatory follow-up, psychiatric evaluation for intentional exposures, and a public health dwelling inspection for unintentional CO leaks. Every environmental emergency follows the same 4-stage algorithm. Step 1. Secure physiology, ABCs prioritizing airway and cardiopulmonary stability above any local injury. Step 2. Remove the vector, strip wet clothing, get to fresh air, extract the tick, pull the patient from heat. Step 3. Reverse the deficit. Apply the exact opposite systemic force, whether that's cooling, oxygen, rewarming, or antivenin. Step 4. Monitor for delayed failure, assuming complications like ARDS in drowning, organ failure in heat stroke, or neurological deficits from CO. To bring it all together, heat stroke and hypothermia sit at opposite temperature extremes and both demand rapid correction. Frostbite always waits until systemic hypothermia is addressed first, and decompression sickness responds to high-flow oxygen and hyperbaric therapy. On the biological and chemical side, pulse oximetry lies to you in carbon monoxide poisoning. Ingested caustics and petroleum are never met with induced vomiting, and tick-borne illness progresses toward chronic arthritis and neuropathy if missed. Across every one of these, the same discipline applies: secure physiology, remove the vector, reverse the deficit, and watch for what shows up late.